What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, hello. Make sure to hit the subscribe button. My name is Mckenzie and I specialize in college lifestyle and fashion videos. However, recently I've been trying to dabble a little bit more into the how to chase your dreams, really go full-time with your YouTube, start tackling your blogging goals, your content creation, whatever it may be. I am coming up on 5 years of blogging and having my Instagram account, Style by Mckenzie. I haven't been in the YouTube industry as long, but I have gained 30,000 subscribers this year on YouTube alone, so I feel like I can give you guys at least my perspective, my advice. And one of the most popular questions, hands down, is how do I work with brands? How do I start getting my name out there, reaching out to companies, stuff like that? So today I am going to share my top 10 tips on landing brand deals, reaching out to companies, and really the step-by-step process to move in that direction. I will have a blog post linked down below with all of these tips and tricks like written out so that you guys can refer back to it. And obviously working with companies is not everything. I did my job unpaid and without free product for a very long time, and I would do it all over again because I simply love what I do so much. But I will admit that working with companies that you've loved and purchased from forever is one of the most exciting parts about content creation, and I love it so much, so I want to share that with you guys. I hope you enjoy, and if you're new, make sure to hit the subscribe button. First and foremost, gain prior experience. Similar to the real world where you are like building your resume, you need to build your resume for the online world as well. Why would a company want to hire you if you have no prior experience, you have no skills in that area? They're not gonna invest in you. So you need to have some work to show for it. I think one of the biggest misconceptions about this industry is that it is a get rich quick kind of thing. And while there are definitely people that blow up overnight, that is not the case for a majority of content creators. In fact, it wasn't even until year 4 that I took my first paid Instagram deal. So everyone works at their own pace. Everyone's timeline's different. Some people will land their first paid deal after 4 months. Other people, it'll take 4 years. It just depends. But I do think, and other content creators will feel differently, I think that it's really, really important to take unpaid work. Do things just for product in exchange for post, because you're building your resume, you're gaining skills, you're gaining experience. And even if it isn't the best partnership of your life, and even if the video doesn't go viral, and even if you don't make hundreds of dollars in commissionable sales, you are still gaining experience. You're still putting forth the effort and putting out an example of your work that you can later show to a different brand and say, this is what I do. This is an example of what I can provide for you. And that is so important. That kind of goes along with number 2, which is to have lots of work to offer / showcase to a brand. So if you are taking lots of deals for the experience, now when your dream company comes to you and says, okay, well, that video idea sounds really awesome. Do you have an example of a similar post, a similar video? Now you have 3 videos that you can provide and say, yeah, here are examples of other videos that I've done that are similar to what I want to produce for you, and they've done really well for X, Y, and Z reasons. And keep in mind that not everything is about landing a paid deal. Some people just want to start learning how to land like free product in exchange for post deals, and those are just as beneficial. Like I've said, they're just as exciting. My first brand deal I landed with Warby Parker 11 months after I started my blog, and it was in 2016. I was so excited just to receive some glasses, and I was able to write that down on my media kit, and it helped me land other brand deals along the line. Remember that companies want to work with influencers whose brand and images align with their vision, what they want to bring to life. Number 3 is post high quality content often. You guys, I cannot stress that enough. You should be posting more than once a week. To my blog, I've always stuck to a posting schedule. I post Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday to my blog. I post at least 5 times a week to Instagram, and I post to YouTube Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Sunday. I am very diligent about this schedule, and the more you post, the more examples of your work you have. And it also really gains that engaging community aspect with your following. They know when to expect content content from you. They will think, oh my God, okay, it's Monday, I should expect a new video from Mckenzie. And that is really, really important. It's not always about how many followers you have. It's about the value of the followers you do have. So you could have 10,000 followers, but if those 10,000 followers are not watching your videos, if they don't trust your word, then they're not going to watch your videos. They're not going to stick around. They're not going to purchase the things that you talk about. But if you have 5,000 followers and all 5,000 of those trust your word and they're willing to buy what you have to talk about, then your content is more valuable than the person with 10,000 followers. And that kind of goes along with engagement rate, which we'll talk about a little bit later. But you need to be posting often and you need to be sticking to a strict, diligent schedule. Self-discipline, practice it now. Number 4, stop selling yourself short. I know I just stressed the importance of taking deals for the experience or unpaid, but you shouldn't be doing that forever, okay? Not forever. Stop selling yourself short. If a company says, yes, like we would love to work with you, we'll send you a 50% off code for you to purchase items and share on your platform. No, you are giving that company free advertising. They are getting the rights to your photos and you are doing work for them and they're still making money. They're still profiting off that sale. That is so, so, so wrong, and I cannot stress enough, you should never do that. The same goes for like, we'll send you the product, you just have to pay for the shipping. If the company can't even pay to ship you the product, that's wrong. And this often happens with a lot of swimwear and sunglasses companies. They'll reach out to you on Instagram and 9 times out of 10 they are spam, especially if they are making you cover the shipping costs. It's just a way to like lure you in. Do not do it. Stop selling yourself short. You are worth more than that. And if you're at the point where you feel you deserve to be compensated for your work, you know, you deserve money on top of the product and you are really like trying to kind of turn this side hustle into your main hustle, you really want this to start being like a solid form of income, don't be afraid to ask. I'm literally going to read right off this blog post because I love the way that I worded this. Make sure you are highlighting the number of hours it's taking you to create the content, stats from previous partnerships with this brand that showcases how many people your work is reaching and how many sales you've driven for that company. A lot of times if you use affiliate links, you can literally go in and look at the raw data and say, hey, I've made 50 sales for you in the last 3 weeks and it's generated X amount of dollars. By doing this, you're literally giving them the data and saying, hey, I am making your company so much money and this is why I deserve to be paid on top of the product. 9 times out of 10, they will say, you are so right. We would love to continue working with you because you are a benefit to our company. We are more than happy to discuss a rate with you. I started doing this in year 5, this past year, where I had been working with companies and I was like, you know what? I am making these companies a lot of money and I am putting forth so much time and effort. I really deserve to be paid. And I reached out and I was like, you know what? It never hurts to ask. And all but one of them said, yes, like, we are willing to pay you. So it never hurts to ask. Number 5 is to show them you're interested. If you want to start working with a brand, you need to give them some clues. It's kind of like the boy world. You got to drop a few hints. You know what I mean? If you want to work with Lulus, perhaps you should start tagging Lulus in your Instagram captions. You should start tagging them in the photos. Start using the hashtags. Most brands have a hashtag that they look to or they follow. Go and see which hashtags that company is following and then start using those. Start hashtagging your pictures when you post. For instance, Lulus is Love Lulus. That is what they use. So if you want to start working with Lulus, for example, when you are posting an Instagram photo in this cute sweater and you're like, loving my new Lulus sweater, hashtag love Lulus, when they are looking for new content creators, when they are looking for influencers to reach out to for previous campaigns, they literally go through those hashtags and they look for people whose photos they like, whose photos align with what they are looking to create and what influencers really speak to them. So I always recommend doing this. I do that a lot. It's one of like my biggest, not top secrets, but I always go through and see which hashtags the company is following. it works wonders, I promise. It's also so important to be actively engaging with that company's content. So, because no one wants to receive a pitch and say, oh my God, Lulu's, I love your stuff. I have loved your product for years. And then when they go and they search their followers and you're not even following Lulu's, they know that like that's just, you're just saying that to say that. You need to actually show that you love this brand. Are you tagging them? Are you liking their photos? Are you actively participating in their Instagram polls? Are you swiping up on their stories? Are you commenting on their photos? Engaging in their videos? That stuff is so important, and similar to the way that you look at those things when a brand reaches out to you, they do the same when you reach out to them. Number 6, make sure your email is everywhere. Your email needs to be linked to your Instagram account, and if it's not, go and do it right now. I do believe you have to have a business account in order to link your email, but you should have a business account either way if you are wanting to take influencing and content creation really seriously. Brands want to see you have a business account. That way you can look at your analytics, your stats, where your following's from, all that kind of stuff. So link it up through Instagram, and then leave it in your Instagram bio. I also leave my email linked down below in my YouTube description bar. I leave it linked all over my blog. I have a contact me page. I have it on my about me page. I have it on a like brands. If you're wanting to reach out, send an email to this email. Leave it everywhere, because that is the main form of contact. Like that email is how, like, I would say 80% of things in this industry are dealt with. Number 7, don't be afraid to reach out to brands on your own. I'm gonna use Lulu's. I'm just gonna keep using one example throughout this post, but so you really love Lulu's and you've been using the hashtags and you've been engaging with their posts and you've been tagging them and still nothing, and you're like, you're not getting an email in your inbox saying we'd love to work with you. No worries, guys, you can reach out to them. I would say about 50-50. I reach out to brands, brands reach out to me. I love pitching myself to other people, and I'll give you some tips later on in this video, but you can reach out to them. No worries. It's not as scary as it may seem, I promise you. Stop waiting until you reach X amount of followers or Y amount of views to reach out to them. Do it now. Chase your dreams now. The worst that can happen is they say no. And then guess what? You can better your content, you can keep working, grow your following a little bit more, and then you can reach out to them again. Like, you know what I mean? It's not the end of the world. And don't get me wrong, I get turned down by plenty of brands, but there are plenty of brands that say yes because you are persistent, you keep at it, you grow your following, and you continue to produce that high quality content. I'm so incredibly proud of my platforms and I love all of my followers. I am so grateful for the following I do have, but the reality is my following is very small compared to a lot of other content creators, but I've still landed some huge brand deals with the platforms that I do have, with the following I do have. Heck, I went to New York Fashion Week with 1.5K on YouTube. If I can do it, you can do it too. I promise. Passion and persistence will take you everywhere you need to be in life. Okay, number 8 is to do your research. Now that you've decided, okay, I have the courage, I can reach out to Lulu's on my own, you're probably wondering, how do I start? Like, I've never reached out to a company, where do I begin? You need to do your research now, and I'm gonna read this. Ready? Do not go and ask Sally how she started working with brand X and if she can share their contact information with you. Not only does this come off as rude and a bit lazy, but many brands have you sign contracts that you won't give away this kind of information. That's personal, private information. And a lot of companies do have you locked into saying, like, you're not just gonna dish that out to anyone. If you do decide to reach out to Sally, which I don't always advise, but sometimes, you know, like if you feel you have a close connection with this influencer, or like, you know, you guys get along really well, be professional about it. Ask that influencer, have you had a positive experience working for that company? And if they have any advice on how you could reach out to them or how you could pursue this company. Instead, go to the brand's Instagram, and 9 times out of 10, they will have their email linked right there. And it's similar to the way that you should have your email linked. Most companies have their email linked, and I always use that first. If there's no email linked in their Instagram, I always recommend going to the website, scroll all the way down, and they will always have either a contact us or a collaborations tab. And when you click that tab, there will be an email for you to reach out to. You really want something in the PR/marketing area. However, if all they have is an email for customer service, you can always reach out to customer service and say, I am looking to partner with you guys. I'd love to discuss a future collaboration. Could you transfer me to someone in the like marketing department, or could you just forward me someone's email that is a better point of contact? That works too sometimes. If you're still coming up empty-handed, which will very rarely happen at this stage, you can always call their number. I have done this many times when it comes to hotels and reaching out to companies for New York Fashion Week. I literally just picked up the phone, gave them a 2-minute elevator like pitch, and was like, okay, can you help me out, or can you just point me in the right direction? Can you connect me to a different line so that I can speak to someone else? And I've had some luck with this as well. You do have to keep in mind that on the phone there are a lot of rude people too, because you know they have other things to deal with, other priorities. So kind of keep that in mind, but LinkedIn is also a very safe place to go. I've landed some awesome collaborations, some awesome partnerships by reaching out to people via LinkedIn and pitching them through that as well. So, you know, get creative, guys. Do your research. Do the dirty work yourself. Don't forget to follow up. Now that you've reached out to them, you've sent your pitch, you're like, I'd love to work together. This is the kind of content I want to produce for you. You throw in a couple of examples featuring that experience work that we talked about at the beginning. Now that you've done this and you still haven't heard back from them, you need to follow up. Most companies will not respond to you the first time around, even if you do have a large following. I say follow up 2 to 3 times to reiterate your interest and push that initial email to the top of their inbox. If you're still getting no response, do not be afraid to reach out to them on a different platform. Oftentimes I will go to Instagram and DM them and say, hey, I tried reaching out via the email that you have linked in your Instagram and I haven't gotten any response. I'm wondering if there is a better point of contact for me to try, or you know, like, yeah, like, you know, what's going on? And a lot of times they will respond there as well. But also understand that reaching out to a company does not always mean that you're going to A, get a response, or B, get the response that you were hoping for. About 60% of emails you send will never be responded to. 20% of those that do respond will be companies turning you down, saying they're not interested or are not currently taking on new influencers / they don't have the budget right now. Companies get thousands of emails a day, and many only respond to emails from people they are truly interested in pursuing. So it doesn't mean that you're doomed forever if they don't respond or if they say no. Say thank you for your response, and please let me know if any other opportunities arise in the future. For those that you didn't get a response from, don't be afraid to better your content, up that engagement, grow your following, and then reach back out in a few months and try again. I've done this plenty of times, and honestly, it's worked for me in many circumstances. For instance, Windsor, I had reached out to Windsor probably 3 or 4 times before one day they reached out to me and were like, hey, like, we've received emails from you in the past, we'd love to work with you. That is a possibility too, so keep that in mind. I'm sorry I just read off my screen a lot, but I really liked what I had to say about that area in that blog post, so, okay. Number 10, last but not least, make a media kit. A media kit, if you don't know, is basically a resume for the content creation industry. And a media kit should include all of the following: a bit about you, your social handles, your contact information, a few key stats, and some previous brand work. This is your online resume. So all that experience work I was telling you about earlier is going to come in handy right around now. When pitching a brand for the first time, I always recommend including a copy of your media kit and saying, I've attached my media kit so you can learn a little bit more about me, my stats, and the brands that I've worked for previously. You don't need to include every brand you've ever worked with. I usually stick to about 10, and I do change up the brands I list under the experience category depending on who I'm pitching. If I was going to pitch IKEA, I would want them to know that I've worked with similar brands like in that realm. So Bed Bath & Beyond, Target, Walmart. If you're pitching a clothing company, I wouldn't want Bed Bath & Beyond and IKEA listed on my experience. I would change that up and say I've worked with Express, I've worked worked with UGG. I've worked with Shein, for example. Similar to how you adjust your cover letter and your resume when you are applying for a job, you want to adjust the media kit depending on who you are pitching and when you're pitching them. There are dozens of media kit templates out there. My first one I ever made was through Canva, which is a free app. I use Canva to make my thumbnails as well, and a lot of graphics for my Instagram stories. They're awesome. My current media kit is through Photoshop. I've done one through Word. There are plenty of different ways. I always recommend limiting it to 2 pages just because it can be kind of overwhelming with information, and at that point, if a brand wants to know more about a certain partnership that you've done in the past, they can ask additional questions. You don't need to like write down every single thing you've ever done in your life. But like I said, media kits are really, really important. They show that professional aspect, and they really do highlight what you have to offer. All right, guys, that is all for my top 10 tips on landing brand deals. Really, you just need to start treating your side hustle like it's your main hustle. If you want people to take you seriously, you need to start taking yourself seriously. Passion, drive, determination, work ethic, those things cannot be taught. They can also not be bought. So you can have all of those aspects, all those awesome qualities with 500 subscribers. There's people with 50,000 that don't have any of those things. And guess what? At the end of the day, if you have all of those things, you are more valuable than the person with 50,000 subscribers. So keep that in mind. Take what I say with a grain of salt or write it down religiously. Maybe you've taken notes throughout this video, but these are all things that have really worked for me over the last 5 years. I am so, so, so grateful to be making an income from what I am doing between blogging, Instagram, and YouTube. It has taken a lot of time. It's taken patience, persistence, but it is possible, and it really can change your life in the best way possible. It's like I said, one of my favorite parts about what I do is really getting to bring brands' creative visions to life, and I love getting to be a part of that. So I hope you guys found this video helpful, and like I said, I will leave a blog post linked down below with these tips written out so that you guys can refer back to it. And if you enjoyed this video, hit the subscribe button if you're not already, and I will talk to you guys in a couple of days. Bye, guys.